Everyone, we are the group 8. Today, we will talk about textile art and the basics of textile art. But first, what is textile art? Making textile is an extremely old art form. Textile art is a process of creating something using fibers from sources such as plants, insects, animals, or other synthetic materials. Textile art has been the backbone of human life as early as civilization began. It is used to create something beautiful as a wool, such as blankets or other items that aid in daily life. Therefore, textile art doesn't only serve as a practical value, but it also serves as a functional purpose. Example of textile art includes tapestries, rugs, quilts, and also clothing. People may also use textile to make objects that signal status or commemorated important events. Example of this type of textile include things like flags, military uniform, and ceremonial banners. So now let's look at a few methods of basic textile. So let's move on to the next reporter.
So to continue the topic about the textile art, so we proceed with examples of the Asian textile arts woven to decoration from Egypt in 800 AD. So what is yarn and threads? So commonly we see these kinds of textiles in tailor shops. These are done doing sewing cloths and other stuffs. So yarn and threads are the textiles often made through a traditional method like sewing, weaving, and knitting. So this method, they all have a basic principles in common. This is the embroidery. So what is embroidery? So embroidery are textiles to cover the surface with a decorative pictures and colorful patterns. So, for example, we see, for example, of embroidery is our school seal in ZSTMST. Next is weaving. So, what is weaving? Weaving is involved interlacing two set of threads. So, these are the warp, which is run vertically, and weft, which is run horizontally. So also weaving requires using a piece of equipment called loom. So this is the examples of weaving from a northwest, which is what we call shilkat blanket from Pacific Northwest. So move on to knitting. So knitting is one of the oldest and simplest means of knitting a fabric. So we don't need a loom or other fancy equipments. In the process of knitting is involved connecting two yarn by a series of loops. So the examples of knitting is yarn bombing. So it's involved covering items in the neighborhood or external environment like cars, bicycles, trees, and weight done by knitting. So this is examples of knitting, which is the tree decoration. So to proceed to our next report.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the continuation of our report, Module 12. Dream and Imagination. Art offers a venue of expression for thought and imagination. By using varied approaches such as different styles, techniques, materials, and subject composition, artists invite responses, conjure up fantasies, and prompt identification with themes in the artwork. Artists communicate and engage with their viewers by developing their thoughts, dream, and imagination. Dreams, a series of thoughts images, and sensation occurring in a person's mind during sleep. So we have three guide questions. First is, how does the artwork subject and themes beyond everyday reality? And two, what do you think the artist's intention or when he created this artwork? And three, experiment with different ways in which dreams and imagination can be expressed. For example, poems, short stories, songs, and dances. In Renaissance, as artists and humanists turned to the writings and art of antiquity, they discovered the ancient philosophers like Hippocrates and Aristotle had been tantalized by the subject of dreams. The 15th century Florentine philosopher Marsilio Ficino in particular took up the task of interpreting the meaning of dreams. So, the 15th century Florentine philosopher Marsilio Ficino. So, who is Marsilio Ficino? Marsilio Ficino was an Italian scholar and Catholic priest who was one of the most influential humanist philosophers of the early Italian Renaissance. He was an astrologer, a reviver of Neoplatonism, in touch with the major academics of his day, and the first translator of Plato's complete extant works into Latin. We have three paintings during Renaissance. The first painting is by Jean Lecomte de Null, A Unique Dream, and the second is Nicolas Dipper, The Dream of Jacob. The last one is Georges de la Tour, Dream of Saint Joseph. And that's all.